Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and I just want to say that once again, it's October, and October is always a very sensitive month for me. My mother died October 3rd, 1983. So yes, it's been 33 years, but 30 something years, but it's complicated. The relationship me and my mother had, my mother was bipolar, manic depressive. She was a black Chickamauga, Cherokee, and Creek woman. She grew up in the South during a very tumultuous time. My grandmother was not able to raise her and her sisters, so they were passed on to family members to raise. But that's only part of why I am doing this video, and if you see me keep looking up at the corner of the screen, that's just because I'm looking at the recording time. I don't want this to be something very long and drawn out. It simply is what it's going to be. I guess I want to start with saying that a lot of things are coming up in my consciousness, in my awareness right now. I've just been made a grandmother for the 5th time, which is wonderful. I just want to put that out there and say I'm very grateful and I'm very honored to be the vessel that helped bring these ancestors, these ones through, who are going to help and influence the world. And I just want to say that we are coming to a very epic period of time in our evolution as human beings. And in this time, right now, this is October, like I said, and it's mid-October. So next month will be November, and we will have an election going on here in the United States. And there's so much controversy surrounding this, I want to say circus, but I will say this election. It just is blowing my mind how many prophecies, how many thoughts, how many emotions, how many belief systems are being blasted and that are coming up and that are all on the table at one time in a way that I've never witnessed it before, that I can literally say I don't remember witnessing before. Some of the things that I see are very critical to our understanding at this time. One of the things that's going on right now that has my full attention, being a survivor of rape, being a survivor of childhood molestation, being a women and children's advocate against domestic violence and sexual assault, and about women's awareness and their own freedoms. This particular man, Trump, who is running for the office of leader of the United States, he is a symbol. He is an archetype. He is visible because it's time for him to be visible. It's time for you to see exactly what has been what you have elected as leaders. He is no different from many who've been in office before. Those things were just covered up through the good old boy network, and through bullying and quieting and all the things, murder and all the other intrigue and espionage that's involved. But we're in a time of technology and of evolution, and of in a place where conscious decision is a must, and where sides have to be chosen, and everything is out there and it's in the open, and so many are seeing it and attacking it, and so many are saying, well, what's done behind closed doors, or this is a man's world, or this and this and that, and it's okay. We've known that this kind of language takes place. It is what happens amongst men. It's what happens amongst boys. No, it's not. It's what's been allowed to happen. It's what's the women have allowed. And it's really time. Just like Michelle Obama said in her speech today, as I listened to her, this man is a predator. Everything about him has been predatorial. From his greed, to his intellect, to his debating style, to his choices. And it's in your face. And to assign the slogan, make America the way it used to be, the way it was, is a direct insult to me, is a direct insult to my children, to my grandchildren, is a direct insult to my ancestors, because you have no clue of how America was before you set foot on this soil, and now you want to tell other people that they are immigrants and that they have to live by your laws. Well, but we're all equal. But you gave my people blankets filled with diseases. You lied to them about treaties and land. You enslaved and treated as chattel and property the ancestors. And so many of you now don't have a clue, because you're so used to privilege. You're so used to the status quo. You're so used to things being the way they are, for people thinking for you, for the big bully, the rich person winning and ruling, that you know of no other way. But there is another way. And that other way, that new way for today, I should say, because nothing is new under the sun. It's being born. It's being created. And you see that in the youth. You see that in those that say, no, this has to change. No, we can't endure that. No, my ancestors may have done this to your ancestors, but that's not who I am. My character won't allow me. My knowledge, my self-love, my self-identity won't allow me to continue in that vein. The moon, the alignments, the stars, the planets, it won't allow me to go on acting like this is how things are supposed to be when they're not. Another thing that I want to say is, beloveds, we are right where we need to be. in this change, in the changes that are taking place, in the changes that are getting ready to happen, that are getting ready to come. I'm in Wisconsin, and like a dinghy, I sat here and opened my window thinking, oh, I can sit here and do this in front of the fresh air, and I'm cold. So anyway, getting back to it, there is so much that we have to do, that we have to know, and that we have to be within ourselves. And it's time, beloveds. It's time to take inventory, to take stock of yourself, to take stock of your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts and the words that swirl around and go around you in your orbit. Are they negative words? Are they judgmental words? Are there so many judgmental people in your circle that you have become one? You don't know how to function outside of judging another being for their clothes, for their taste, for whatever they're doing. Our emotions are very important right now for our consciousness. Everything, I've been getting downloads. I've been receiving downloads since I was a child. And I don't know how to explain that to someone who doesn't get that kind of information. I don't know. I'm tapped out with trying to explain that to people. I've just gotten to the point where it is what it is. I accept it for what it is, and I deal with it. And I don't look for anyone's validation of it. I don't look for any more other people's need. I don't have a need for you to understand how I feel, what I see, what I hear, how I come to the information that I come to. I don't have that need to prove myself. And I realized that just recently. I was telling someone that, there's a lot of, throughout my life I've taken on a lot of disease as an empath, as a hypersensitive empath, and as a being who has a big heart. I didn't know how to draw this energy away from other people and what to do with it, other than to store it within myself, other than to take it into me, so to speak. And I've been doing that for a very long time. And I've been learning how not to do it. I've been learning how to transmute what has already been taken in. And I've learned how to connect the dots with myself when I see myself going into patterns and old behaviors of what I call needing comfort for dealing with all this stuff, some that's mine and some that's not. And what I realize, beloveds, and the point that I'm trying to make with all of this is that we didn't get into this state overnight. We didn't get into this place where we are overnight. This has happened for eons. This has happened for centuries. Slavery goes back more than 400 years. It's going to take time. But it's going to take first us understanding what is going on. And that understanding doesn't and isn't going to come from understanding another person. It's going to come from understanding yourself. Understanding yourself, your emotions, your feelings, what moves you, what motivates you, what shuts you down, what puts you in a mood? What turns you on? What turns you off? All of these things, it begins and ends with you. You don't need to understand another. You don't need to get into their mind. You don't need to do all of that. You don't need to be afraid of someone else, their thoughts, their feelings, their words. Concentrate on yourself. Concentrate on your consciousness, on your will, on your ways, on your beliefs, on your needs. And don't look for others so much to, don't expect others to see you, to know you, to feel you, to understand you, to cater to you, to act in a specific way that you think they should. They are their own person. They're going to do them just like you're going to do you. We get off on the wrong feet when we start expecting things from people. Because when we start expecting things, we set ourselves up to be disappointed. Because in actuality, we're putting our hopes and dreams in the hands of someone else. And when we put that kind of trust, that kind of faith in someone, we're saying that I trust your ability to do this more than I trust my own. Basically, more than I trust that of the Creator, almost. Beloveds, we have a very long way to go in our evolutionary process, but like I said, we have come so far. Don't give up. Don't give up. Look at the things that are going on around you and know that they must come to completion. They have a beginning and they have an end. And it's a cycle and it's a season completing itself. And you're here to witness that cycle and that season. And you influence it by your consciousness, your awareness of it, your ability to witness, your ability to adapt and survive the changes that are coming. And also that you are putting in place by expressing and establishing your will. Another thing that I want to talk about is unity. And I'm going to speak specifically right now upon, I guess I'm not going to speak specifically because what I'm going to say, it doesn't have a racial line. It doesn't have an age line. It doesn't have a gender line. What I'm going to say is this. I have witnessed so many of us with good hearts and good spirits and a conscious hunger for more and for more evolution and for more peace and more love. I've seen you tear your brothers and sisters down in a need to be right, in a need to say my way is the only way. But I want to give you something to think about, and this actually came from me going online and just looking for music to transport me, to give me new thoughts, to awaken me to some different things. And as I did this, I came across a young man, and his name was Shaka Amos. And I listened to some of his music, and it's in an Egyptian style. It's the lyrics. I'm a word person. I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I love words, and so when someone uses words in a way that really expresses and touches my memory, my core, my deepness, I pay attention to that person, not just how they present themselves, but to the energy and what they're doing. And I listened to this brother, and I was impressed with his heart and where he's going, and with the words that he chooses to express himself with, and his style. He has a beautiful style. And I just want to say, as I listened to his music, I was blown away. And then on YouTube, there came these other places where he was, and he was debating. And he's a brilliant man, debating brilliant men, all of them being men of color, all of them very knowledgeable of history, of what is going on right now, and very passionate, each of them in their own particular lane or avenue. And those lanes or avenues are just the way they choose to they choose to express themselves and their knowledge, and where they're comfortable with, and what memories they have, and what they identify with, whether it's Muslim, whether it's red pill, blue pill, whether it's Egyptian, whether it's Gnostic, whether it's Christian, whether it's Afrocentric, without all the rest. None of that matters. And I know you're going to be like, what? I want you to think about something. I'm a universal being. I'm a star being. I consider myself that. I am first daughter to the Great Mother, an awakening goddess. And I want you to understand this, even if you don't understand anything I just said, those titles, those words, those labels. Understand this, that when a mother gives birth, she doesn't care if her child is Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Islamic, Hindu. She doesn't care what belief system he or she chooses. What that mother cares about is the content of character, is the intention, is the heart, soul, and spirit of that child, and if it reflects universal values, and if it obeys universal laws. It is not about a man-made system or ism or way, because the Great Mother established way. That way is called birth, death, and rebirth, and it is universal, and it plays itself out even amongst the planet and the stars. Planets die and are reborn. Planets are born, stars are born, and they burn themselves out and they're reborn. The earth is no different. The children on the earth are no different. So when we listen to all of these things, these words, these ways, these isms, these religions, these mathematicians that come up with ways of division, it's not division so much against ourselves, It's division against the Great Mother. It's a division against the Source, the Creator. And that division is what has caused chaos on this planet. And it is time for this energy that has used this season, this cycle, to rule, to express itself. It's time for it to go away. It's time for it to die. It's time for us to let go of it. It is time for us to envision something more. To know that there's something more. To know that there's something higher that is calling us. That is awakening our consciousness. And the more of us that began to do this, the more the old system will fall away. The more the old system will be detached from your psyche, from your way of receiving information, from your way of knowing. There's so much right now. So much has to do with understanding of your core. And when I say your core, I mean that's your inner child. You know how in so many in so many communications, in so many of what the old ones and the ancient ones tell us, it's always to be childlike. It's always to return to that state. And that's because that child state is innocent. It's curious. It's all accepting and it's all knowing all at the same time. And it is an awareness that you are able to expand, that there is more to you than what you know at the present moment. And see, we get to be adults or teenagers and we think we know everything and can't nobody tell us nothing, or that our way is the only way. And we began to listen and to be in order to be right, in order to be heard, in order to have that attention focused on us, to say, oh, so and so is right, so and so and so, so and so and so. And then so and so's head gets all blown up, and so loses the essence of himself because he's now become so inflated and he now has to keep doing things to gain that attention. So many of us, it boggles my mind. And I'm very much into this as well. I don't take myself out of it. So many of us are looking for parenting. We're looking for mothers and we're looking for fathers, no matter our ages. We're looking for that in our relationships. We're looking for that in what we choose as leaders of our communities, of our families, of our schools, of our jobs, those that we put in places of government, those even that heal us. We're looking for that mother or that father figure that can fix things, because that's what we've been taught, that's what we've been told. And so many of us, I was looking at a situation that just happened to me recently. I was getting ready to go to, someone invited me to come to Atlanta to visit him and his temple and his community. And I listen to this brother, the things that he does, the things that he has done, and I was blown away just at how much time he had devoted to be able to do the things that he's doing. But the more I listened to this person, the more I realized that everything that he was doing was really all about himself. It was for people to focus on him, to say, wow, look what he did. Look at how smart he is. Look at what he can do. Look, him. And then he himself said, he said that I wasn't healing myself. And I said, what makes you say that? How can you tell another person that they're not healing themselves? And his reply, it didn't answer anything for me. It didn't pierce me. It was just him spouting his ego. And so I asked him, if you are this great healer, if you are this great leader, if you have all of these degrees and certificates and all of this accolade and these devotees and these followers and this and this and this, and you're so motivated by the black community to do this and to do that, why isn't there more healing that has taken place in the community that you are a leader of, that you are healing, that you want to take charge of? And he said, they don't know me. They know you, beloved. You don't know you. You don't know you. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about how many things you have. It's not about how many people you have around you. It's not even about how much book knowledge you have. It's about your consciousness. It's about you understanding that healing takes place on many levels, in many dimensions, in many relative ways, whether you see that or not. If you're looking for physical healing, I'll tell you something even about myself. I used to be 600 pounds. I would never look in the mirror, let alone make a video. Healing? Baby, I know what healing is. And I am healing myself. I'm healing myself by opening up myself. I'm healing myself by talking about my wounds. Okay? I'm healing myself by loving myself and by loving you. By being willing, first of all, to even reach out to you. Because I don't reach out to people. And those people that usually reach out to me have their own agendas and so forth and so on. As you did. When I first met you, we had only, and this is Facebook, so many friends in common on Facebook. And now we have, I believe, over 200 the last time I looked. So there are many things and many agendas that people have. But you have to know, beloveds, your feelings, your thoughts are the most valuable. You can't allow a Trump or a Hillary Clinton or Vladimir Putin or any of those people that want to call themselves leaders, they hear themselves talking. They don't hear you. They don't see you. They don't know you. The way to fix what's going on in this world is to pay attention to yourself. It is to rise above your own tendencies of self-neglect, self-hatred. It is to rise above your own need to be ignorant so that you're not fearful of life, death, and rebirth. It's about reconnecting again with that matriarchal energy, the great mother energy that is healing, that is warm and nurturing, that, yes, it gets tired, but it has a resiliency to it that fires and gives birth to stars, to galaxies, to systems, to universes. That has been the focus of cosmologies, of knowledge that has been passed down throughout the ages. And to think that we are not a part of that, there's no greater self-hate. There's no greater denial. There's no greater obstacle to overcome than in knowing yourself. Knowing where you stand, knowing your wounds and addressing your wounds, and knowing that your emotions are so very important, beloveds. We are not artificial intelligence where our emotions have no bearing, have nothing to do, that we should just get rid of all of our feelings and become these robots. We feel. We were designed to feel. Our body secretes hormones and electrons and causes circulation and neurons function flashing in our brains, and there's biological, alchemical reasons for emotions. And when we learn to get in touch with ourselves at a certain level where it's no longer our emotions that are dictating our longevity or our brevity in life, in love, in relationships, in understanding, in ways and moving forward, we will have really achieved something, beloveds. We will have really, come to a deeper understanding, a deeper consciousness, and a much deeper way. We have got to get to the point where it's okay for us to be us. It's okay to sit down and not give a damn about what somebody else thinks or feels about you, or to think or feel that because they know more, they're in a position to govern you, or to lord over you, or to heal you, or to do all these things. We're being shown, we're being taught that everything that we need is within us. It's in us. And all we have to do is to sit down and listen, to meditate, to read, to listen to people, to see people, to listen to ourselves, to understand the desires of our hearts, what motivates us to do something? What motivates you to invite another person to your home? What motivates you to say, I want to help you. I want to help you heal? What motivates you? Where is it coming from in your heart? Is it coming from a place where you want to change them? Is it coming from a place where you want to control them? Is it coming from a place that is so hungry and starving in you of, say, you needing a mother figure, that you reach out and the only way you know how to express yourself is with all this negative crap? A lot of times, beloveds, we as women, we see you and we allow so much to go on because of the unconditional love that we are able to show. And so many times that love, that being able to love unconditionally, that is so taken advantage of. You know, it is so taken advantage of, and you get to a point where you're almost like, okay, I'm just gonna be by myself. I'm just gonna stay to myself, and I'll be good. But beloveds, we are not meant to be these solitary creatures. We're meant to be part of a collective as well. And before you can be part of a collective and really have that collective work and really be part of a mature collective, you have to work on yourself. You have to get to the point where you know who you are as an individual, and no one can move you off of where you know you are. You've defined your square. You've defined your foundation. You know what feeds you. You know what depletes you. You know when you are empowering someone else. You know when you're giving your power away. You know when you're shutting down and you're saying, okay, whatever. You also get to the part where you know you can make a difference just by tuning in and focusing and healing yourself and speaking your truth and expressing your thoughts as an individual. And you know that in that sharing and in that expressing, that there is like-minded individuals, like-hearted individuals who are searching, who are looking, who are needing, you know, and you are their mirror. You are their twin flame. You are their soul flame. You are what is needed, and you magnetize, you know. And you have to be careful what and who you magnetize to you, because some people can say some things and that's not where their hearts are. They will smile in your face while stabbing you in your back, and you can tell them the most intimate things about yourself. And because you are you and you allow them to be them, you think, well, I know you're a little shady, but, you know, I'm going to show you love and maybe you won't be so shady to me, you know, or maybe I'll see your shadiness coming and I can head it off. And they wind up stabbing you in the back, and you're like, okay, I did see this, and you have to admit to yourself that you empowered that person to do whatever it was that they did to you. You invited them. You amened it. You okayed it. You went with it. And it was a lesson. And if you allow that person to stay in your life, they're going to keep teaching you these same lessons. But if you've learned that lesson, then let them go. Forgive yourself. And know that there's nothing to forgive in the first place, because you were learning you. You were getting to know you. You needed more contrast. You needed more depth. You needed more insight. You needed to make sure. And you did. And you do. And life experiences come to us when we need them. When we need them most. And those of us who pray, we can never pray enough. I myself have been told, you need to pray more. And I'm told that by guides and spirit guides, and as well as human beings that I know. You need to pray more. And I'm like, but when you understand the power of words, and you understand your power to utter these words, and when you understand the universe and its ability to hear you and to manifest what you need, when you connect all of these dots, praying becomes this. This is a prayer. You're listening to my prayer. My prayer is being heard. What am I praying for? Unity. Unity in spirit. Unity in unconditional love. Unity for fellow human beings, regardless of their colors, their genders, their sexual preferences, as long as it's not hurting children and animals. If it's consensual, I have no problem. If it's consensual between two people who are capable of making, that kind of decision. Relationships are all about relating. I'm praying for us to be able to relate better, to be able to relate better with ourselves, to be able to relate better with each other, to be able to relate better with the planet, to be able to relate better to the universe, to be able to relate better to unconditional love and all that it means. I'm praying for us to let go of the limitations that we have placed upon ourselves, the prisons that we allow to take place. We get into this big huff about private, physical prisons being built and who they are incarcerating, and how humanity is allowing them to be built and to be used. And no one understands that we're green. And not only are we paying for the incarceration, setting up those that need to be incarcerated, paying those who are the guards, the jailers, the advertisers, the what have you. We're actively participating in this. When you are not sharing your life experience, and no one's here to teach anybody anything. I'm not here to teach you. I can't teach you. I can only share my experience with you. It was my lesson, and you can gain some wisdom for it, because every lesson contains wisdom. When we allow ourselves to get over the guilt, the shame, the blame of our lessons, and understand that every emotion involved was needed to bring us to the next level of understanding, then we should be thankful for those lessons. No one asked to be hurt. No one asked to be victimized. That's not what I'm saying. Let's not play word games and get things twisted. But what I am saying is that sometimes lessons have to come to us in ways that are unshakable, in ways that we can't look away from, in ways that we can't say, that's not a lesson. So when you see these deaths happening, don't look away, beloveds. Don't look away. Understand what is happening before your eyes. Understand what you're witnessing. All life matters. Life has cycles, birth, death, and rebirth. Even while you are alive, you participate in those cycles. And death is only death. Death doesn't kill you. Death doesn't come and torture you. Death doesn't chop you up. Death doesn't give you cancer. Death doesn't do any of that thing. Death is an escort. She escorts you from one awareness into another, from one dimension into another, from one reality into another. Stop fearing death. You kill yourself. You kill yourself by the things you think, by the people you have around you, by those you choose to love, by the silence you choose to maintain, by feeling that you're not worthy, by allowing others to make choices that you're capable of making yourself, but that you're scared of. I tell people all the time, I am a complicated person. I'm complicated because I think, I analyze, I look over things, I examine it, and I think about the things that I think about. So these are the things that makes me complicated. My life is not complicated. My life is very simple. Is it exactly the way I want it to be? No. I'm not living in a world that I want it to be. So how is my life going to be the way I want it to be? But I know this. I'm leading up to that. By universal law, I'm going that way. I'm setting that karma. I'm establishing the character into my nature, into my DNA, just by being me. There's energy awareness that never dies. I'm part of that energy awareness. I have always been, and I will always be. That is my understanding. That is my belief. And with that, it's not dependent on you agreeing. It's not dependent on nothing of you at all. It's all dependent on me. How I feed that, how I nourish that, where I go with it, where I take it. Okay, we're into about 54 minutes, so I wanted to keep this way under an hour, but I'm a talker. I am such a talker. I I just want to say, beloveds, this is Mother with Wisdom, Valerie Ames, on Facebook, and life is such a journey. It is such a journey, and I'm in such a good place right now because I love me. I'm happy with me. There are things that I need to work on about me to get myself healthier, but to think that I'm not working on that, to think that I'm not doing anything to heal myself, for me to listen to that would be poison. For me to listen to that, if you are a healer and you're telling a person, because they're not carrying out your particular brand of spirituality, that they're not healing themselves. There's a saying, physician, heal thyself. There's also what is called wounded healers. We actually spoke physically about shamans who were very knowledgeable and who during ritual or ceremony or just contact were removing sickness, removing this spirit of energy, of disease, of whatever, however you want to put it. And it gets in them, or they take it within themselves, and some cannot remove it, and it kills them. And others, they're able to get rid of it, or they're able to go to someone else and they take it away from them. Beloveds, what I'm saying, what this is never get to thinking that you know it all. Never ever get to thinking that a piece of paper that someone else gives you, that you've apprenticed yourself to, or that you've gone and you've learned from them. Never get to thinking that somebody else had to go through that same procedure in order to know what they know. That's not the case. There are a lot of people here walking this earth now who were born with certain knowledge. They didn't have to go and learn it from someone else. They may have learned about it and what to do more with it, but no one taught them who they are. And you said yourself that we're all born with this. We are. Some remember, some don't. Some feel the need to validate themselves through universities, through other people, whatever route they went to or go to. I just want to say this, and I guess this is the easiest way for me to say it, because it's, like I said, it's been in my mind, it's been on my heart, it's been fucking with me to put it in, I guess, the right terms. And everyone is not engaged by ritual, okay? And I'm just going to put it, and you can think whatever you want to think about it, but this is how my ancestors are telling me to put it. And so I'm just going to give it to you. Give it to you just like it needs to be said, and that is this. It was my ancestors, some of my people, beings, energy, whatever, that first taught your ancestors how to do the rituals in order to put you in a state of mind, in a state of spirituality, in a state of consciousness to do whatever you intend to do. Okay? Nobody has to give anybody papers for that. There's no certification. There's no university. When you tap directly in to the source. And the only reason you don't understand that or know that is because you have to get your information from outside of yourself. You have to go to teachers who can teach you these rituals, who have to teach you the steps, the procedures, what to look for, how even to get in touch with your guides, how to listen within you. Don't get the big head thinking you know everything. Because baby, let me tell you, you don't. You don't. And there are beings walking this earth that know more and that have forgotten more than you can learn in several lifetimes. They have purpose being here. And they don't go around saying they're teaching. They don't go around charging money for what they're doing. They don't go around doing what they're doing to get pats on their back of recognition. They don't need the attention. They don't even want the attention. Beloveds, there are people now looking at doctors who have gone for years and years of study and memorizing and labs and procedures. But there's also a such thing as medical insurance, malpractice, so forth and so on. Just because someone has a piece of paper, just because they've said, I have applied myself and I have applied this knowledge, does not make them whole or intact. It makes them smart enough to do repetitive work. It makes them smart enough to understand what ritual is and what to do with it. Like I said, there are many who don't need ritual. There are many here now and many who are being born that won't need ritual because it's already inside of them. It is as deep as a hunger or a thirst. It is the desire to change this system, because this system is against everything that they know to be against unconditional love. Unconditional love allows certain things, but when those things start limiting love, it's no longer unconditional. Love is not territorial. Love does not make all these stupid ass demands. It doesn't limit itself. Doesn't make itself smaller. Doesn't make itself more needier. Okay, we've been over an hour. This is Mother with Wisdom. This is Valerie Ames. And this has been what it is, and it's a bit of me rambling on, but I think some good things came up as well. So, um, let's just say it's October, beloveds, and I am expressing my feelings, my thoughts, my being transparent. Offers me a chance to go deeper into myself, into my own thoughts, into my own needs and desires. It gives me a chance to look at myself from outside of myself, to understand that my children tell me a lot of times I don't listen. And I tell them, I just had this conversation with my daughter. I told her, she says, "Mom, you don't listen to one of my grandchildren. You don't listen to him. You don't listen. You didn't hear what he said. You don't listen to me. You don't hear what I say." And I had to say, "Baby, let me, let's, okay, after we squashed it and all of the emotion was, settled down and stuff, and I come from a family that says you don't let the sun set on animosity or unfinished argument or anything. You settle that before the sun sets on it." And so I still very much believe in that. And so I called my daughter to me when I was in California, and she came into the bedroom and sat on my bed with me, and we talked, and like I told her, I know sometimes I don't listen, and it's because I'm old school. I I have a very low tolerance for bullshit. I have a very low tolerance for excuses. I have a very low tolerance for you knowing but wanting to act like you don't know. And again, that goes to children. I've done that. I did that to my parents, and my parents did that to their parents. And I'm just, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear your excuses. You know what's right. You know right from wrong, and you chose to do this. What excuse do I need to listen to? What are you going to tell me that's going to change the situation or change the choice that you made? And it's like, it's not about that. It's about you listening. And I had to realize I had to rein myself back in, because a lot of people don't process things the way I process them. A lot of people don't feel things the way I feel them. A lot of people don't hear things the way I hear them. And so, even though, they're my daughter, she's my daughter, and they're my grandchildren, and all of this and all of that, I have to realize and allow them to be themselves as well. And if they need to go round about the bushes and up under the hedges and under the fence, and in order to tell me this and this and that, instead of just getting right to it, I've got to allow them to be themselves, and I've got to try to listen. But I also, it is me being me, to let them know. Nana has a low tolerance for bullshit, and I'm not going to sit here and just listen to you go on and on and on about something that doesn't make sense, and you trying to convince me that you're right when you yourself know that you're wrong. So I'm not gonna go there with you like that. And my grandchildren know what they can and what they can not do. They know when they can milk a situation. They know all of these things. So when it comes back, like I said, it all goes back to being like children and realizing that that's your core nature and your core being. And some people, when I meet them, and I'll say this because I some kind of way feel the need to say it. For me, when I meet men that I'm going to be attracted to, or that I am attracted to, I'll say it that way. It's always because a core essence of themselves came out to meet me. It's always because their inner child kind of greeted me. It's always because I get a glimpse of that energy first before I pay attention to the physical or anything else. It's always the ability of that core self to make itself known to me. And when that happens, it's a beautiful thing. But most times, most men aren't even aware of it or what they're doing. And I think a lot of women aren't even aware of what makes them attracted to certain men or people or situations. And when you get there and when you know what it is, it's that energy, it's that essence, it's that core. And the more you know yourself, the more you'll be able to identify that in other people. And when they can't, when they can't give you what you need, understand don't take it personal. It's that core, that child part of them that just doesn't have the tools to deal with it, to go there. It's a shield. It's a safety net. It's boundaries, and they are necessary. And we have to give people their space and allow people to be themselves, as long as they're not hurting anyone else. Okay, I'm babbling now. Alright, be loved and be blessed, beloveds. Again, this is Motherhood Wisdom, and that's it. Okay, I'm looking